and welcome to the Fuck It All podcast, where modern women have conversations about redefining what it means to have it all. I have my two, I would say, like dearest friends and dearest possessions, because the text thread between our group of friends is honestly one of my like prized possessions. So I will give quick story and then I will let them say hello. On the line is my sister Allie and my best friend Mackenzie. And we all had our daughters around the same time. So my husband deemed us the Titty Committee, which I hope that doesn't offend anyone. I don't know if it would, but it's hilarious to me. So literally our text thread is called the Titty Committee. And I cannot tell you how many times when I was working full time, I would have like people in the car and it would pop up and say like text message from the Titty Committee. And I would have to explain that. So you know what? That's my all today. That is speaking to you all. So Allie, Mackenzie, welcome my Titty Committee to the Fuck It All podcast.
Hello. I feel like that's just wildly appropriate to kick this off.
It is.
And I am so thrilled that I am not the only one that has had to explain the Titty Committee to somebody else, because having Titty Committee pop up on your phone, there's so many avenues you can go down.
See, that's how Nora knows you both.
I'm obsessed. Nora is her 1.5-year-old daughter. So that's amazing. Okay, quickly. I want to update everybody that's listening on what our conversation was right before we started this. And the thing I love about a group of moms is this is a real conversation that I have at least every time I get together. When was the last time you showered? And what is your marker? Is it the length of your armpit hair or the smell that your husband gets from across the room? So those are the two. Literally, as I was pouring my wine and we were signing on, I was like, I'm going to keep this real. That is what our conversation was.
Yeah. And I'd like to be more specific in that I'm not like, if I see armpit hair, then I have to shower. It is truly the length. Like at what point, shirts become uncomfortable. And
was it 3 days ago or a good 4? I don't know.
Well, let me look. I think we're at 2.5.
2.5. All right. So I will start it off because not everybody's met you guys yet. I'm going to let you quickly introduce yourselves through a couple of lenses. I put mine as, I think I did a podcast the other day and I said I was woman, mother, wife, and then everything else. Friend and sister were up there, both like real sisters and not. So I'm going to let you guys do quick intros just so the audience knows who you are. Some cute little girls that your moms to. Allie, you want to give quick update who you are?
Sure. So obviously your sister, from another mister for many years now. We've finally crossed the threshold of we have been together over half of our lives. So
it's monumental.
Casey's mom and my dad are married, and I think they met when I was 15. So you can do some math there. I just turned 30. So I like to define myself as woman first. Mother to me is super important. I don't know that I force rank these necessarily like you did in your podcast the other day, but my daughter is 18 months old as well. Casey and I did not, for the record, have a pregnancy pact. It just happened that way.
Although she is trying to get me into a pregnancy pact for round 2. I
am 100% trying to get anybody and everybody I know of fertile age to be in a pregnancy pact with me, because my postpartum depression was so bad and I felt so alone that I don't want to do it alone again.
I will assure you that you will not be alone, even if I am not with child. I'll probably be more helpful not caring for another one.
But I do like to think of myself as I feel like in August, I kind of hit a really good stride and feel like I'm in a pretty good place right now, doing well at work and feeling like once you turn 30, you're just kind of like, I don't need your approval kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this is like like you said earlier, the two of you are my closest confidants and certainly my most cherished text chain and people in my life at the moment.
I at least once a week have to go in and clear out clutter from other text threads just to keep ours sacred. Because
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, like, you best not be deleting anything.
Oh, no. My phone is always like, you're out of storage. And I'm like, well, I guess, Mom, I'm going to have to delete our years-long message because the Titty Committee stands.
I'm the idiot that pays for additional storage because I won't delete anything.
I don't know how to do that. So when we get off this call, you have to show me how to do that.
It's all in the cloud, Casey.
And it's in the cloud, wherever that is. Okay,
Yeah,
Mackenzie, quick intro for those that are meeting you for the first time.
Well, I'm also your sister. No, for anyone that knows Casey and Allie, you know that you become like family when you become a friend. So I consider myself family. I am I moved down to Atlanta, God, 5-6 years ago. And you know, I don't like to give too much credit to my husband for many things, but
Fair.
I will give him credit for introducing me to you. So that's how we crossed paths, and then Case introduced me to Al. So that's how I got here. And I'm a woman, and I
Confirm.
Check.
on most days. And I am mother to little Nora. That is kind of been my existence for the last year and a half, which has been a kind of a fun thing to navigate with everyone and both of you, and myself mostly. Yeah, I mean, so like if we were in a class project together, yeah, you two would be like telling me what direction we're going in, and I would probably be decorating our poster, is how I kind of think of our, like, and it would be the coolest fucking poster out there.
It'd be the best poster that anybody's ever seen.
But it would be guided by the two of you. So that's kind of how
I love this. And so both Allie and Mackenzie will be on the episodes or on the show for full episodes. But I'll tell you, this week, I was having like such a, honestly, like mind fuck week. I've just been like so blah. One, allergies. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta this year, but apparently they're here and they're here to stay, because for 4 weeks, like you hear my voice, I sound like I've just smoked a pack of Marlboros. And I have just every week been feeling sick, and that is killing my energy. But I'm almost at 2 months since leaving my job, and I have no structure in my days. So I've been just so, like, honestly, not a very good version of myself this week. But this morning I got up. They both noticed I have eyeliner on right now. I'm winking at them. And I also put on silver snakeskin boots, which in my last podcast I said gave me energy. They also did today. And I've been so looking forward to our virtual happy hour, of which I have the house to myself. Blake and Tallulah have left. They have left, and it is just me. I'm about to take my bra off.
Why are you wearing a bra?
I mean, it's like literally a bralette. It's a sports bra. It's not even real ones, but even that is going off. So I am so looking forward to this, and I needed it. And I appreciate you for letting me record it like a weirdo and share it with the world.
We're here for it.
Cheers to you, girlfriend.
I'm already out of wine.
So. Oh, well, do you need to go refill as you sit in your closet?
It's the only quiet space, and my closet is like my dream world. So I just kind of live in here when I can.
Allie has a lovely closet. She came over last year and organized mine, and I've tried to keep it, somewhat intact. But right now I see like a strong women poster. There's a hat wall, like a beautiful purse display. Like
there's a very like vertical shoe situation. Yeah. It's just what I love.
It is. I mean, it's amazing. It makes me feel good just looking at you in your closet right now. Okay. So I told you guys I would come up with prompts, And I forgot that I told you that until we were about to hit record. And you said, Casey, did you bring prompts? And I lied and said yes.
Yes,
Sucker.
definitely knew that was a lie by the way.
Okay, I'm glad you at least knew. I'm like, yeah, I did. No, I didn't. But we're gonna wing it. So first of all, Mackenzie, you were my inspiration for the podcast. And I wrote that in the brief about it, but it was us sitting there like, you know, trying to figure out lives after having our daughters. And I'm like, okay, we just have to have stories about this because all three of us have such different day-to-day journeys.
Yeah.
But like, it's so fucking hard.
It is. Yeah, there's no you know, I often complain that they don't really prepare you for being an adult. They truly don't prepare you for being a parent.
No.
I want to get rid of home ec class and I want to like introduce like, here's how to do your taxes, maybe your first year parenting and like, you know, buying a home.
And even then, I'd still be clueless.
And
I was a pretty good student, mind you. But yeah, it is just, and I actually had a conversation with a girlfriend today. It's just a constant state of learning and winning and losing and then losing and then losing but then you win a little bit and it's just it's a hard gig. I am purposely not going to end that sentence with but it's so rewarding.
Okay, thank you for not doing that.
Because I'm just going to end it and it's really hard.
Period.
Y'all,
as she sips her champagne.
When we got pregnant, everybody that I knew was like, oh my God, you have to get on daycare wait list. It's so hard in Atlanta and da-da-da. Well, yeah, it turns out that like you think about getting pregnant and you get on a daycare wait list because they're so long. They're also like really expensive. I pay more in daycare than I do for my mortgage. Like I live here. So
yes.
Before COVID, I was like, what the literal fuck? Why am I paying so much money for this? And I knew like I did not want to stay home. I do not want to be a stay-at-home mom. I read Untamed this summer by Glennon Doyle and it changed the way I really think about things.
We talk about it every episode on Fuck It All between Glennon and Brene. I'm like honestly gonna burn some saint candles up in here because
do they have that on Spark Notes yet or is no?
We will give you a version. We will give you a Spark Notes version. That's another episode.
Right. You need to know about Tabitha the cheetah and that motherhood is a model, not a murder. Like that's it. Those were my two biggest things. But I will say since COVID, I would pay daycare, like I would pay 10 times the amount of money that I do now to make sure that my kid's out of the house. Like I love Piper till the cows come home, but she's been home. She was home yesterday and today from school. I was working today and she's a really shitty intern. So
I asked my therapist the other day, I go, I can't tell if my kid's a toddler or an asshole.
I have that conversation daily.
And she goes, they're kind of one and the same. I'm like, you're so right.
Yeah, I
love
really,
her. I love her.
I mean, okay, let's just say a blanket statement. We love our children. We are
love
very
our
good
children.
mothers.
Yeah.
However, Jesus, they are a lot.
I remember talking to someone and saying like about like right after I had Piper, I'm like, oh, like I've always thought about like, oh, I'll have another. I briefly mentioned this earlier. Like I really struggled with postpartum depression after I had Piper and I didn't realize what was going on until my husband was like, hey, please don't go play in traffic. Let's get this figured out.
God bless him.
He is a literal saint, that man. But I remember someone being like, you should really only have a second kid or multiple children if you enjoy being a parent. And at the beginning, I was like, what? I'm never going to enjoy this.
Honestly, like, fuck that person because they shouldn't even have an opinion. But second of all, okay, so beginning
someone
of
that was a mother.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is the phase where I really like, now that she's hysterical and challenging and all of the things, I'm like, oh yeah, we can totally do this. And I told Chase, my husband, I'm like, I mean, dude, we're not doing anything else.
All
Like,
right. Well, you know what Allie's doing after this. Better watch out, Chase, if you're listening.
he's
Don't
like,
get that.
I'll
Don't
sleep
get the second glass
downstairs.
of wine. Don't do it.
I
And I'm
know.
like,
Chase is
fill
like
me up.
tightening his chastity belt.
That man is like running down the street away from me right now, but that's okay.
Okay, so I've had a very different experience, and I wonder. So Piper, when she was really little, she had really bad acid reflux, and she was very fussy at the very beginning. And Tallulah was like super chill, my daughter. But now Tallulah as a toddler, like the other day I walked downstairs, Blake's sitting on the couch. It's like 4:30. We need to go pick her up, and I'm like, "Are you gonna go pick her up?" He's like, "Casey, she's so much. She is like so much," and I'm like. I feel that like right now is a phase where, and I mean, granted, he's in school, like we have a lot going on like in life, but the thought of adding, we have 2 dogs, another living thing, Pixie shit all over the house yesterday. And honestly, the idea of like between my one dog pooping everywhere, keeping my other one alive because he has an autoimmune disorder, Tallulah like being fine, and Blake in school, and me trying to figure out whatever this is. I was just like, and similar to you, Mackenzie, of like the win-loss. I'm like, this is a marathon, and I don't like marathons. I want like short-term.
I hate running. It's the worst.
Yeah, I don't run, first of all. If I did, I definitely would not do a marathon.
I only run after my toddler. That is the only running you'll see.
Yeah. And so I'm having this moment where it's like, I'm not able, you got to buckle up and be in for the long haul. And I'm looking for like the little wins. And she's so awesome, but I want to nap more than I've ever wanted to nap because she's so much.
Constant. And I think that's the thing is it's constant. And, like we've finally got to a point with sleeping where she'll sleep through the night and she'll actually put herself down. And that has been like a godsend because there is nothing like having, whether you're at home with the kid all day or you're working all day, and then to come home at the end of the night when what used to be having one of these, watching something, and then going to bed.
Yep.
And to have it be like only the start to your day, like when they're not sleeping or they're going through a moment, and that adds to your working hours, it has a way of just kind of like breaking you down. And I forget where we started, but that's where I'm ending.
That's like,
there are a lot. It makes it like it can be never ending when it's not only when they're awake, but then when they attempt to sleep, and then it's
we have been.
Oh my God. Yes. Your kid sleeping is like so jealous.
I mean,
it's
we've
like
been
what sex
super
used to
blessed. Yeah, that. I mean, we've been like super lucky with Piper. She's slept through the night for like, I don't know, ever. Which I'm sure other moms and women on this podcast are like, yeah, right. No, really. Like literally 8 weeks old.
Since she was like 2 weeks old, full night sleeps.
Yeah.
Full night sleep. Like homegirl loves a snooze. But I will say something that is so different. I also used to be an extremely heavy sleeper, and like I love to sleep, but now I cannot like fully be asleep unless she is out of my house.
Yeah,
like or you have a Benadryl or a Klonopin or something like that.
I was gonna say Xanax
or that.
Mine, but yeah,
that is the only other option. But with like this weekend, I mean, my mom has been here. She's been here 2 weeks, which has been amazing. And my mom lives in Virginia, and I don't get to see her enough, especially with COVID. But she's been here 2 weeks, and it's been amazing. But I texted my dad and Casey's mom this morning. I'm like, no one's going to be here on Saturday. Please take my kid. Like, I just need to go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep. That's it.
So that's like, this conversation, I think if I were to talk to anyone else on a regular basis, like you said, Mackenzie, I'm not gonna qualify this with, but they're great. I would
Right.
feel that pressure if I were talking to other people because they'd be like, geez, you're like really bitching.
Uh-huh.
But the power of like our friendship that I think, I mean, we've all been, obviously, Allie and I are sisters, we all have known each other, but it has like deepened to a point where I truly feel like we will be bitching with our husbands. We will be like so exhausted from our kid, and we can turn to this group and say that without any judgment. Sometimes it is literally just so we get it out of our minds and don't snap at the world around us. Like that has been the thing that I was doing a podcast earlier this week, and I asked the woman, I said, what's the best part of being a woman? I'm hoping I don't spoil this, but she said, my tribe. Like female friendships are unlike, like, I almost feel bad for men because they don't have this.
Absolutely.
And I have found that because there's not, you go through certain life changes and you have to recognize the people around you that are the safe zone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like so grateful that we have this. And I'm grateful that we have a platform to talk about this openly because I think that so many moms, like I look sometimes and I'm like, I'm not whatever other vision of it is, but being able to have this safe place to come and be like, guys, I'm totally fucking this up, or I'm totally rocking it today. We also text each other when we're like, our kids are being so like precious and sweet. And like, you know, we need a brag moment too. Like,
Yeah.
I am so grateful for that. And like, I wonder how different certain moments in my life have been had I had this kind of core group and like during other moments, not just driven by having kids.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I think a big thing is like, especially the world we live in now with freaking Instagram. PS, super grateful we didn't have Instagram when we were in college.
1000%.
Dating us a little bit. But like you, it's like you, and the fact that people move around a bit more, right? Like I live in Atlanta where no one I went to high school with or went to college with live. And so the way you keep up with people and continue to live with people is through Instagram, or that's all I use. What do the kids use? The tweeting and stuff. But like and it's, you know, you don't post, most people don't post and questioning whether or not someone's going to like this. Like, I mean, it's my freaking kid hugging my dog. If you don't like it, go fuck off. Like, so we live in a world.
By the way, I would definitely like that because that's very cute. But
I mean, and it's kids and dogs. But like where'd I go? But like also it just kind of perpetuates this, like you have to do or live your life in a way that other people will approve of or recognize as positive. And so it makes it all the more valuable when you have a group that you can just be with and say things that you don't like, ooh, what are they going to think? Or what are they going to like, what is this? How does this make me appear? Or, you know, like to have that and to have not only the people that will let you feel, but also that can understand how you're feeling that way, is just monumental.
I think too, this for me certainly has definitely been a different season. Like in my 20s, I don't think I ever would have been as open to sharing or confident enough to say like I'm struggling or and you know, for me, like I always dated people and it was like, oh yeah, well I gotta fix and that was
we'll have another episode on that.
There were lots of those for any of you.
She's like the man mechanic. She would fix them and then they would like go on to find their next. Like it was very impressive.
I am very into that title, the man mechanic.
The man mechanic.
The man mechanic. I think the title of your next book.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think I just found my next job.
I feel like there's a lot of people that would pay for that. So.
Right. I feel like I'm really hoping Jason is not listening to this right now. For those of you that know, Jason is my boss. But I did. Like, I went through these like fixing phases, and it was like, oh, I have to fix him, fix him, fix him. Like, if I can fix him, he'll be the right one. And you can get him to a certain point, but like, you just always have all the baggage. But I mean, Casey has been like my confidant since I was 15 and she was 16. And that's really been my closest girlfriend relationship until I moved to Atlanta. And I, give Chase a lot of credit for this too. Like, he grew up with this kind of core group, and they all married what I like to refer to as the Disney princesses, because we're all really fucking awesome
And beautiful.
and extremely better looking than any of them. Just kidding.
Definitely that.
Kind
We
of.
may not be beautiful on like a normal scale, but like compared to them, we're doing all right.
I mean, like, if you've ever seen the How I Met Your Mother episode of the crazy hot scale, I feel like we're in that kind of sweet spot, like a little bit crazy, definitely hotter than crazy, but like still in that zone. Certainly nothing Botox can't fix. And there were a lot of really great women and friends that I made when I moved here that I wasn't necessarily able to in other phases of my life. Like, not even from like a relatable standpoint, but just from like I was either too busy fixing something else or fixing myself, or not able to get on the right path. And I mean, I kind of did this cycle. Like, I grew up in Virginia. I went to school in Texas after a couple of years at school in Virginia, and then moved to New York, and then moved to Atlanta, and thought Atlanta would certainly be a passing through point. And now we are on year 6.
We're at 8. Mackenzie's at 5. So Atlanta, you got us.
Yeah.
And now you most certainly do. We literally can't leave.
Literally
can't. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something so critical, but I don't know that, I feel like your 20s are like really hard to meet women and have close girlfriends, because I've kind of talked to my mom about this, where it's like you're in this building phase and this like attaining phase, and anybody else that gets in your way, you kind of get in your head of like, if she's taking from me, then like there isn't enough to go around. And I feel like that's so systemic, but I was never certainly able, to give that kind of grace to other people. So I wouldn't assume that they would also be able to extend that kind of grace to me.
That's really...
There were less people to extend grace, and for me to extend grace to, like, there were not a lot of people.
Yeah, it's funny. Once you I have found, once you stop being, speaking for myself, so judgmental towards other people.
Oh yeah, I judgy as fuck.
Oh,
I'm working on it. On it.
I mean, sometimes it's fun, but like, no, I mean, like, when you stop being, and honestly, like, becoming a parent was that ultimate, like, you do you, like, whatever works. And that kind of, then stems to many other parts of life, not just when looking at other parents, but that I think was like the ultimate moment where you can then, when you embrace the fact that like you're not perfect, you're gonna mess up, and that's okay, and then it becomes okay for other people to also do that. That's when you really start to kind of build really cool relationships with people, because you get to be super honest about what you're going through, what you're experiencing, and I have found mostly people reciprocate, because people yearn for that.
I think too, like, Casey, this podcast obviously is called Fuck It All. And I think for so many years that it all has been this, like, do I check boxes?
Yeah.
Do I fit in with this group of people? Do I make enough money? Do I have the right job? Do I have this? Do I have that? And I think for me, like, Piper has certainly given me some perspective. It doesn't necessarily have to be, like, it has just been so humbling. Like, I think it all is so like nebulous in so many ways. Like, I don't necessarily know what it all is, but I don't know that a lot of people do. And the fact that you can lean on people that are just as fucking clueless as you are is really, really nice to be in your 30s and just kind of like, I don't know. What you
Yeah.
think? I don't know.
I find
And
that I like myself more when I'm
Yeah.
able to do that. Like I sit with myself better when I'm not feeling like I'm having to like armor up or put on a facade. I'm able to just be me. It's a lot. We've talked about this on the podcast. I'm very anxiety ridden. Like girl has some problems. So when I don't have to do that, it's very helpful. And I find that I attract the right kind of people in my immediate circle, because if somebody's turned off by that, then I very quickly, it's like, we're disqualified. Not that they're a bad person. They just may not be my immediate crew.
Right.
And so it's so funny, like even in the work world, I'll like come across people and just like they hit you with a moment of authenticity or like honesty. And you're like, yep. I mean, that honestly is how Mackenzie and I came to know each other. Is John, my husband, and I were grabbing coffee and it was about work. And we very quickly started talking about our significant others and moving to Atlanta and this moment of transition. And we were engaged. And it was like, oh, you're a person and you're willing to be vulnerable. And that's when we all got together. And that was like 4 years ago or whatever it is. Like, I'm just so grateful when I come across that. And I think it's like a muscle you build up when you do it and it's a positive reinforcement. You're like, oh, I should do that again because that felt good.
Right.
Other people
Well, it's
that like are okay with that.
Yeah, it's like when you stop trying to find your place in the world and just try to find your way, like that you find a lot of people along the way. And not a lot. Like
no, like
you literally are my friends in Atlanta and I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I don't need like 30 people, like, but you know, this Titty Committee right here, that's good for me.
I feel like I went through this a little bit when when I moved to Atlanta and I met Chase. It was like, well, you have to invite her to this party because of this person and this sorority sister. And if this, whatever. And I'm like,
Welcome to the South, y'all.
I'm like, I don't fucking like her. I don't want her in my house.
Yeah. And I think that there's like almost a freedom for all parties when you're willing to just like be really honest and candid. Like, let's not do the dance. Let's just, and that it did take time for me to honestly just find my own voice and confidence and spend some time paying attention to like, what do I even like or dislike? I don't think I did that, honestly, for like probably until the past 2 or 3 years that I even had an opinion on it. I thought I did, but I really had never been intentional.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to, because I know all of us in our text thread and where we are this week. What is one thing that we are all promising to the world, by the way, because we're live, people are listening. What is one thing we promise to do for ourselves over the next 7 days?
Mackenzie, I hope it's shower more than 3 times.
More than 3 times?
That?
Oh, more than 3 times, you're asking way too much, girlfriend.
Yeah,
7 days
is adequate.
That's a majority. I can't do that.
Next 7 days.
Yeah.
For yourself?
For yourself, not for your kid, not for your husband, not for each other, but like just for you, something that brings you happiness or joy, just for you.
Well, you'll both make fun of me because Halloween was decorated in September. But it brings me joy. So I'm decorating for Christmas this weekend. Half of it's up. I already have half of the stuff inside, and I will be the only house on the street that has all of my lights and all that shit up. But, I'm just celebrating the end of the year. So it's happening.
Do it.
There is no judgment here. Honestly, I think you're like the 20th person I've seen, at least on my Instagram feed, because, Instagram are my real friends, that are also decorating for Christmas. They're kind of like, fuck it, this year sucks and it's weird. So if Christmas lights bring me joy, Christmas tree it up.
Yeah. And if nothing, the pandemic has been a true teacher of you have to do the small things that bring you joy, since there's many things you'd like to do that we cannot. we gotta
I'm
find the
gonna
little.
hire you next week to come do my house. So you do your house this
Done.
week for distance. You can come do mine next week. It's great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Shall get paid in booze.
Done. Allie, what are you doing for yourself?
I don't know. This is so hard. I just came off of
It's
a
hard
long
to think
day.
about yourself, and we got to build this muscle.
It is a very hard thing to think about when you are getting off of a day of Zoom calls.
Preach. And I made you get back on Zoom.
You did make me get back on Zoom, which makes me want to just slap myself. I don't know, guys. What is one thing I'm going to do for myself? Sorry, I know this is like very anticlimactic.
I have an
I'm just like,
idea.
I don't
You're sending
know.
your kid away. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a thing.
But
Sleep.
I think sleep, it's like so boring, but I just need to get rid of my kid for a little bit.
Amen.
Also, I did see something the other day that said showering and sleep are not self-care. Those are
Thank you.
necessities.
I know. And that's why I
So-
even hate saying that. I was thinking about that as we were talking about showering, because it's like you put women and mothers specifically in this place of like, oh, self-care is just like, you know, getting
Basic
a full
care.
night's sleep, like literal basic care. And it's like, no, it shouldn't be that. Like my treat to myself should like be something
Like an actual treat.
like an actual treat. Like if these damn Chanel loafers don't stop showing up on my Instagram feed, I may not buy them, but
We're
a
getting
treat to
so many
myself.
insights into your vices right now.
I know, but I mean, truly, like, I don't feel like sleeping should be a treat myself. And I don't feel like washing my face should be a treat myself. Like I do that every day, sometimes not well. And like, I want to say, oh, getting on the Peloton is going to be a treat myself. No, it's not. I need to get on my bike because I need to get on my bike. Like,
What
I
about
don't
a
know.
nail? What about a nail paint? Y'all, you like a good.
Yeah,
I do love a good,
pretty.
I do love a good nail paint. So maybe that will be it. I always joke with my gay best friend that painting my nails makes me feel pretty. So maybe that will be it.
I get that. I was going to say maybe you were going to go give baby 2 a go, but
No,
That is definitely not a treat.
that is not a treat myself.
not a treat myself, but it might be a treat herself. I don't know. I'm not here to tell her business.
Oh,
that
valid.
that IUD is
The
the real
process
deal.
can be a treat yourself.
The process can be fine. Okay, what is mine? Mine is, so I thought yesterday when I was feeling like my total blah, like, ugh, you know, the world is darkness self, I thought that seeing people gives me energy. So the thing that I am going to do for myself is twice a week, I am going to, whether is this a Zoom happy hour where I get to see y'all's faces and we get to have a conversation, or like I go for a walk with someone or an outdoor distance coffee. I am agreeing to, I mean, I don't have a job. So like, and my kids in daycare. So like I got time 2 days a week to physically see somebody. I think we're about to have another woman on the show. Miss Nora McClung is coming in right now.
You guys, look at this kid.
She's trying to open the door. She's
I can't.
2.5 feet tall. It's great.
She's scaling the door. Oh,
This is
how
how
did you
real it
get that open? That's really hard to do. Good job. You gonna close it? Do it really hard. Good job.
Oh, there we go.
I appreciate
Do
the
you think-
trauma of it.
I know. Do you think you can sit and be quiet? No.
Hey, Nora.
No. Yeah.
So that's mine. I'm going to try to be able to see people more because I'm really having some trouble being alone in my house with the same 4 walls and same 2 people, 2 dogs.
Yeah. It's not a go out into the world. No, just you. It's parenting in and of itself is kind of isolating.
Yeah.
Not kind of. It's isolating. It's just it doesn't feel natural to do it alone. So, and just to be a human being, not even be a parent, just to be like a human being, it doesn't feel natural to not. Like to hug. We had a friend who was in for business and drove up into our driveway yesterday. And I haven't seen him. Here, just call whoever you want. I haven't seen him for 2 years. And to not be able to hug him is like,
Yeah.
It'll just wreck you.
So I totally get your case. I think it is something that you should do, and I would love to be your walking date.
Okay, you heard it here, guys, on the couch.
Once my parents leave for their Thanksgiving.
I know, we're keeping it safe, guys. If you're out there, you're gonna see your family. Quarantine, don't be assholes. Come on, don't get the folks sick.
I know.
I appreciate you both. This was the perfect way to start my solo night because, like I said, no kid, no husband tonight.
What are you gonna do? Don't tell us.
I run around my house naked. I don't know, like live my best life. I don't know, watch some terrible shows. I started watching The Kitchen on HBO. Strongly suggest it. Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, Elizabeth Moss. They are great. And it's not, I mean, it's like kind of funny, but it's more of like a dramedy. It is their Irish mob husbands go to jail and they decide to take over the mob in the 70s.
Oh, I've heard of this.
I'm here for it. It's funny. It is different vibes of Melissa and Tiffany. Elizabeth Moss always plays a little like broody, but it's great. If anybody has stories about strong women, that is not like, I mean, I love a Bridesmaids, but I can only listen to fart jokes so many times. Like I want like real stories. So that's where The Kitchen has come in. I'm enjoying it immensely.
Okay. So I have a suggestion.
Hit us.
It is something that Josh and I wound up watching by ourselves.
She's
and
already
was
discounting this immensely. She's giving us like all the reasons why it's not okay. But
No, it is shocking why it's okay. So, as you both know, Nora's obsessed with Frozen 2.
Nora and Casey.
And quite frankly, myself.
Yeah.
And so one of my girlfriends suggested on Disney Plus, they have the making of
Mackenzie, I've watched
Frozen.
it twice this week.
Oh my God. I literally,
I've watched the entire season twice this week.
I cannot now listen to the last song without bawling my eyes.
I had to go back and watch the movie. I told Blake about it. He wanted to make fun of me. I'm like, no, motherfucker, this is actually very beautiful. First of all, 2 sisters, no men involved. Jennifer Lee, the director, amazing.
And talk about women running shit. The job she has, not only for that movie, but then to be doing it for all of Disney. Anywho, y'all should watch it.
You really
not Casey.
Allie, I know you're not into Frozen. I've watched it twice. I did not watch it again, but Allie,
it's fascinating. It's like the making of the animation, and it is
so.
It took 4 years.
I know, but this is my whole thing. Chase loves my husband. Chase went to school for film, and
but like 100 years.
So I know, like 100 years ago. But this is where the problem lies: is that he wants to watch movies all the time, and I do that sometimes, mostly while I'm playing on my phone, which is rude.
I've heard him bitch about that.
He complains about it all the time. I think if he knew how bad I was about it, he would never have married me, along with my Captain D's addiction.
We'll talk about that in another episode too.
But we're both trying to like hold out as long as we can on the Disney movie scene because we know that we're going to have to watch them over and over and over again. So until I have to go down that road with Piper, I'm making a conscious effort.
I'm going to make a Frozen joke. Just go into the unknown. Just go. Just let it happen because I will tell you, do I listen to Frozen soundtrack even when Tallulah's not here? 1,000% yes.
Do I go to bed and wake up singing the songs? Yes. Is it because I have to watch it at least 3 times a week? Maybe. But do I hate it? No.
Okay. She's shaking her head right now. If you can see her face, she's like, bitch, you're crazy.
I am. Yes. You are speaking my thoughts. Both of you.
I know. Okay. I'm going to hold you guys to your one thing this week. Mackenzie, send us pics. I know you will, of your Christmas decorations. Allie,
Yeah.
if you were game, like send me a pic in the bath. I mean, if that's your thing. And I'm just kidding. No, don't, but do. This is the Fuck It All podcast. This is a bonus episode with my two favorite ladies, the Titty Committee. You'll probably hear from us a lot because honestly, why not? We all need a little pick me up with our gal pals on the weekday. My name is Casey Gordon. I'm your host, and we'll see you next time.